لا تروح لك.
بالله يسترنا لك. شو خلينا نحط بس
كمان الشيخ ناصر ما له رجال. مو انا يعني.
قال له يا شيخ يتكلم عن الازياء، عن يعني يا اخي كل مره عن الاسلام الاسلام الاسلام.
فقه النكد كله.
لا استغفر الله. لا
فقه
لا
النكد. لا فقه النكد مو النكد. عملوا نكد
شو هاد؟
على الهواء مباشره يا شباب. انتبهوا
والله كيف على الهواء.
على الهواء. عليكم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The Sheikh is making dua. Say Ameen. آمين 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 آمين. The debated issues about Islam in the media, this is a subject that really has to do with the identity, about the Islamic identity. There is a big effort to shake the principles of Islam, shake the principles of the identity of the Muslim. So all these debated issues that they are raising in the media nowadays, and they're trying to distract the Muslims and put doubts on Islam itself. There are abundance. And there was a conference that was done in October 2011 that was held by American Muslim Jurists Association and the leaders of the Imams of United States. And they discussed this issue about the media and all the false news that they do on Islam. And one of the things that they have declared, that the need right now is very important to have a unified language that we could talk back, to reply back. And as we have said before, that we have a just case that we have a bad lawyer who representing this religion. So it's not that the case is not a good case, it's just the lawyer is bad. The Muslims are not defending Islam the right way. So there's a need nowadays to have a dialogue, to have people who can talk in behalf of Muslims, that unify the Muslims. that combine between the meaning, the right meaning, and the timing. That the statement has to be the right statement, and it has to be the right statement. And there is a story that one of the rulers, he saw something in his dream. He saw something that disturbed him, and he started asking everybody who could interpret his dream. So one of them, he told him, "May Allah have give you reward. Your people, they're gonna die one after the other, and then it's your turn, and you'll die, and we all belong to Allah, and we should return back to Him. And every soul shall die." The ruler was very disturbed by this interpretation. He was very angry, and he ordered that he will be killed. And all the interpreters, they came in the same interpretation until, and they all die. Wise man, he said, "Oh, glad tidings, O king, you're going to be the longest. You are the longest one among your family." And there is no difference between the first interpretation and the second one. No, it's just the way you present it. He said, "Oh, you go glad tidings. That means they're all gonna die before you, until it comes to you, and then you will die." But the way he presented this fact, that you are the longest to live among your, so the man gave him money and made him close to him, even though he did not, the the facts did not change, that he's going to die at the end after all his family die. They say in the beauty of the talk, this is a poetry. It means that sometimes the nice word that you might say, the nice statement, could win a lot of hearts, that could soften a lot of hearts, could win a lot of things, more than just putting the fact right there in front of people. And this is the magic of the talk. The first thing we're going to talk about, that practice in Islam, it's not just in the masjid or to talk, but it has to agree with all the truth that Allah has sent in all times, everywhere, in every case, in belief, saying, and practice. You have to be with Allah Azza wa Jal. You have to be in agreement with Allah in your talk, in your belief, and also in your practice. So it's not just to sit in the masjid and to talk to people. No, but Islam not only in this, Islam beyond this, you have to have a practice that reflects this belief, that reflects the truth that Allah has sent in Islam. There is an expression that Islam is free. There is a saying, a statement that came from Europe, actually from the Western culture, that's widespread, that religion has no meaning. It's just a philosophy that people use to attract people, to use the people to get to the power. And And the Sheikh is saying that there is some political people uh, that make people feel, they distract people, they deceive them, they try to deceive people. You should know that truth is is required, and deceiving people or lying to them, it's treason. So the talk should not should not play with the facts. Allah said, "Do not say what you have no knowledge of." That hearing, sight, and the heart, you are all responsible for all of these. So the true practice of Islam is to uh, im- build in this life, not to destroy it. Allah said about Salih, in the behalf of Salih, all people follow Allah, worship Him. He's the one who put you on earth and made you build in it. Meaning He asked you to build it. Unfortunately, it was, and the politicians, they use it in a different way. They use it in colonizations that comes to destroy the countries and the nations, and they misused it. They should use the other one with destruction, not building, because building is a beautiful word, and Allah used it in the Quran. Allah asked you, and He asked you to build this life, build this earth. But those who come from behind the sea, overseas, who come in to steal from people and take the resources, they have nothing to do with the building, the true building of cultures, and building democracy and building civilizations. The true practice of Islam is not to live life and just dedicate yourself only to masjid. No. The Prophet ﷺ said, if the hour comes and you have a seed in your hand, if you could, do not stop until you put it in the ground so it will cultivate a tree, go ahead and do it. So the true practice of Islam, you build this earth, you build this life, and to preserve the cleanness and the environment, and not to oppress or hurt anyone, and to fight uh, anything, any destruction to environment, because you need to preserve this environment that Allah has given us as a trust, to give it to the new generations without destroying it. Like we have the Prophet ﷺ, who told us not to urinate in the water that stands still, nor to urinate or use number two in areas where people sit or pass by. This is part of the environment, the preservation of the environment, to preserve the rights of the generations that live in and the next generations, that they have the right to live with no pollution. Don't you know that moving the anything from the from the road, it's a charity, and Allah has put a prostitute in the heaven because she went down the well and gave, or she let a dog drink from her shoe, the thirsty dog that was about to pass away. So Islam ordered us to take anything that's harmful from the road and consider that a charity. Allah ordered us to not to make sure no pollution, whether it is in the environment itself, or even in the society. Like all the sexual abuse and all of that stuff, these are all pollutions to society that Islam came to fight. So the true practice of Islam means to be good to all people, to all nationalities, to all colors, to all people. Allah said, say to people the good, what is good. Allah said, "Oh, who you believe me, be uh, standing for Allah in justice, and don't let the injustice of people not to be just. Be just; it is closer to piety. So if there is hatred or there is animosity between you and someone else, do not transgress against them. Do not take their rights away." You know the story of the person who said, Omar, he's the one who said to the one who killed his brother. He said, there is he like the justice to be established. Allah has sent the messengers, and He sent the book and the scale, so people will establish justice. The book of Allah and the scale, so people will judge with justice. That's why justice is one of the things that make any nation sustained, and it will destroy any nation, any civilization, if there is no justice. Allah said, if you say something, then be just, even if it is for someone who is a close relative. And the justice of Quran, Allah said, some of the people of the book, if you give him a whole bunch of money, he will give it back to you. But among them also, so if you give him like a minor dollar, he will not give it to you. So not all the people of the book are people who steal from you, because Allah said it started with the goodness, that some, if you give him a whole bunch of money, they will give it back to you. And some of them, and among them also, people who will steal from you, who will not return anything back to you. And you know Amr ibn al-As, when he said that when the hour will come and the room are the most abundance of the people, he said, be careful, what are you saying? They will be more than the Muslims? He said, yes. He said, this is what I heard the Prophet ﷺ saying. He said, if he said that, they have 4 characters, and this is the description of Amr ibn al-As, and this is what he said, they have 4 characters. There are more calm people when there is a trial, a test, and the first one to come back of the calamity, and they are the best to come back to the battles, and they are the best to come in the side of the oppressed and the needy. And the 5th one, and it is beautiful, and they will not support the tyranny of the kings. So this is the implementation of what Allah said. If He said something, be just. Sometimes when someone disagree with him, we make the mistake he made as a prison for him. So we don't even look at him or consider him except from this mistake he made. And we forget what goodness he probably made. And this prevents all the goodness in that person. And Allah does not want us to do that. Allah wants us to be even, to be fair, to be just to everybody. When we see something bad in someone, to look at something good in him too, as well. And not to reject someone just because he made a mistake or he had one little flaws here or there. We have to look at all the pictures and find all the goodness as well, to be just. Islam as Quran and Sunnah that is corrected, and a right understanding and right practice is free from everybody who misrepresents Islam, and if you see, and if you, a lot of people who, and unfortunately you find it a lot, if you find a lot of people who mistalk when they talk about the West, it's because of the political injustice that happens. some of the Western political institutions, they did injustice to some Muslim countries that reflects on a stand that people take against these countries. But we have said before, Allah is your ally and His messenger and the people who believe. So the alliance in religion is only solely for the Muslims, but the tolerance is for all humanities, the civilians, that you have to adjust and be good to all of the people, all the civilians, and protect their rights, to break their blood and their properties and everything. Allah said, Allah did not tell you to be good to those who did not fight your religion and do not try to evacuate you from your places of living. So our alliance in Islam does not mean that we do aggression or we do any injustice to any non-Muslim. Supporting the oppressed, even if the oppressor is a Muslim. Your support to the oppressor, if he's a Muslim, is to stop him from the oppression that he is doing. This is how you support your oppressor Muslim, that you stop him from being an oppressor and to stop him from doing wrong to others. Justice in Islam is absolute. Does not distinguish between two disputers because of their color or nationality or their background. Justice is between all people. It is an order from Allah. It is among all the personal issues. Allah said, we have descended the book with the truth, so we could judge between from what Allah has showed you, and to rule with what Allah showed you, and do not be to the aggressors an enemy. And Allah sent a Quran to support a Jew because of a Muslim was did wrong to him, and when he stole like something, I gave it to the Jew and accused him of being the thief. And people, they came to the Prophet ﷺ and they wanted to entice the Prophet against the Jews and what they did, but Allah Azza wa Jal wanted the truth to come up and wanted to support the oppressor, even if he's a Jew, the one who is oppressed. Allah support the oppressed, not the oppressor. And as forgiveness to Allah, Allah is forgiven. And do not debate about those who deceive themselves. Allah do not those who are deceived by an arrogant. That's why the lawyer who settle, he cannot take a case that he knows that his client is a criminal, because Allah said, do not be an ally for those who are oppressors. Those who hide from Allah and He is with them, where they keep what Allah do not like, and Allah is well knowledgeable of what they did. Now you are debating on their behalf in this life. Who is going to debate in their behalf in the hereafter, or who is going to be their supporter? So the lawyer, he's supposed to bring with evidence on behalf of his client that he cannot present. And this according to facts that the lawyer, he gets from his client, that he don't know how to present it. Sometimes there's some laws that are reduced, like some punishment that are reduced. Allah left it for the judges to decide on it. And there is a minimum and maximum punishment. And the judge can go between those two could be like from 3 to 10 years. The lawyer, when he knows that his client is wrong, he is trying to find the facts that's going to reduce that amount from the fact that he knows to reduce the punishment in the ruling, but not on that's on the things that has minimum or maximum punishment. And we know that depends on the facts that he present and the way he present them, that's going to change the term of the punishment. And and the last thing, it's not the last thing, but what we're going to conclude tonight, and inshallah we'll continue this topic in a different time. The reference in Islam is not from any of the scholars, and it's not for the to the humans. It's for Islam by itself. So no one can claim that he is the only person who understood Islam. There should be conditions that he had to follow for those who follow it, and this is allowed for anybody who prepare himself for this, for whomever capable to do it. And the statement of Abu Bakr, if I did good, then help me, and if I did wrong, stop me and straighten me. That shows that there is no rule in Islam. This is something in Europe. The European memory hate that the religious rule, because they used to think that the king or the ruler, he is a representative of God, and whatever he said, it is something that is obligating everybody. Whomever disobey with him, as if he is disobeying Allah, and whomever agree with him, as if he's agreed with Allah. And goes to the desires of those kings or rulers and put the holiness on them. Now this is what we used to be in Europe, but this is not in Islam after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not going to be to any person after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whomever he is. No one from the humans who have absolute obedience beside the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is the one who supported with the inspiration from Allah. He is an inspired person, and whomever did good, if he didn't do good, and if the Prophet ﷺ did not make a mistake, the inspiration will always come and straighten him, because Allah tells them and show the reason. So it's not for the Prophet to have pillars of four, and this is the only mistakes, like the worldly mistakes that the Prophet ﷺ, not in the religion itself. So it's not for any humans after the Prophet ﷺ to have absolute obedience beside the Prophet. And anyone who ordered that, he has lied. You obey me if I obey Allah, and if I disobeyed him, don't obey me. The Muslim can obey the ruler as long as he's not ordering with a disobedience, and he ordered with disobedience. There is no listening nor to obey. There is no obedience for the disobedience of Allah. That's why our religion has freed the humans from worshipping another human like him. Indeed, the rule is to Allah. He has ordered not to worship anyone beside him. This is the true religion. This beautiful meaning makes everyone gather among their worshipping to Allah. The husband marry, whether he is from east and west or vice versa. The culture of each one is okay, but the values, there's so values from the wife and the husband, and sometimes there is like a dispute. Who is the rule at the end? who is the reference back is to Allah the Almighty. When he meditated on the rule of Allah and the Sunnah, not through the East or West. He wanted her, so the reference is only to Allah, the Quran, and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. A lot of things that are disputed to support ourselves, so we will not be the permissible of what Allah have permitted, and forbidden what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, and the religion what Allah registered. Inshallah, we'll continue next Monday.